Chakshormilitanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Guru Vargandharva Govinda Glinganaisa Vande Prashadatoyesham Sarvaramba Shubhankaraha. So we are continuing with chapter 9, Shri Prapanna-jivanamrtam. We have reached verse number 26 and we're still within this section of verses from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Kani bhuta vishuddha sattva mortim ashritya tamasa prakritayopi paramam gatam labante. By taking shelter of Sri Krishna, the embodiment of unadulterated, concentrated, pure goodness, even the most depraved reach the supreme destination. And this is the verse from Bhagavad Gita. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syu papa yonayo striyo vaishyastata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. O Partha, by expressly taking refuge in exclusive devotion for me, even low-born, barbarous persons that subsist on cow's flesh, corrupt women such as prostitutes, and humans of lower order such as merchants and laborers, they all swiftly reach the supreme destination. Nothing can impede those who take shelter in devotion unto me. Prapanna-jivanam prakriti yantritatvam ishwarasya bhaya niyamakatvam cha. The conditioned souls are enslaved by material nature, but the Lord is the controller of both nature and the living beings. Ishvar sarva bhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati ramayan sarva bhutani yant narudani mayaya. O Arjuna, I am situated in the hearts of all souls as the Supersoul, the Lord and Master of all souls. For every endeavor of the living beings in this world, the Lord, my plenary expansion, the Supersoul, awards an appropriate result. As an object mounted on a wheel is caused to revolve, the living beings are caused to revolve in the universe by the almighty power of the Lord. Incited by Him, your destiny will naturally be affected according to your endeavors. Shuddha jivanam anuchaitanya swarupatvat sasima swatantrataya sadvyavahadena padashashaye parashanti. The pure spirit souls have finite independence due to their constitutional nature as atomic conscious entities. By proper utilization of that independence, they take shelter of the Supreme Lord and thus attain to the supreme peace. The pure spirit souls have finite independence due to their constitutional nature as atomic conscious entities. By proper utilization of that independence, they take shelter of the Supreme Lord and thus attain to the supreme peace. Tam eva sharanam gacha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim stanam prapsyasi shashvatam. O Bharat, surrender unto that Lord in all respects. By His grace you will attain to supreme peace and the eternal abode. Bhakta Bandhavasya Bhagavata Paramamarmo Padeshaha. The most hidden of all hidden treasures of the Lord, the most affectionate advice of the devotee's dear friends. Sarva Bhuyata Mambuya Shrinu Me Paramam Vacha Ishto Si Me Judamiti Takta Vakshami Te Hitam. I have revealed to you my hidden teaching of the non-differentiated Absolute, and my more hidden teaching of the Almighty Dominion. Now hear the most hidden of all hidden treasures concerning me, the sweet Absolute. Of all the teachings I have imparted within this Gita Shastra, this is topmost. You are most dear to me, and thus I am explaining this to you for your best benefit. Padama Madhurya Murte Kama Devasya Kama Sevanu Shilanam Eva Nishchitam sarvotama phala praktihi. Beyond all doubt, the highest attainment is to serve the super-mundane aprakrita desires of the sweet absolute Cupid. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. So this is following on from the previous verse where Krishna is saying, I've given you other conceptions of the Absolute, other realizations of the Absolute, and now I'm telling you of the highest, and the highest connection that is possible. So this verse is following on from that. Be my devotee, give me your heart. Do not think of me as the karma yogis, jnana yogis, and dhyana yogis do. Sacrifice your every endeavor for me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is my vow that without a doubt you will then achieve the servitude of my own self, which is the embodiment of truth, sentience, and beauty. Because you are most dear to me, do I reveal this transcendental devotion to you. Be my devotee, give me your heart. Do not think of me as the karma yogis, jnana yogis, and dhyana yogis do. Sacrifice your every endeavor for me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is my vow that without a doubt you will then achieve the servitude of my own self, which is the embodiment of truth, sentience, and beauty. Because you are most dear to me, do I reveal this transcendental devotion to you. And Srila Sridhar Maharshi, this is a famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, and Srila Sridhar Maharshi comments on this in Search for Sri Krishna, that, how shamelessly Krishna is canvassing for himself here. He's like just shamelessly saying, like, worship me, love me, be my devotee, do everything for me, with no shyness, no shame. But for what purpose? Not actually because he has that real need, but because he knows that is in our best interest, that we will attain. Like a parent may, like in a moment of exasperation, tell their child, just do whatever I say, like they want to know, I'm not sure, should I do this, should I do that, or why are you really saying that, can I really trust you? And they may analyze, what their parents are saying. Then the parents are saying, you don't have the capacity to understand completely right now, like just trust me, I love you, and I know it will be good for you to do what I say. And also, Gurudev pointed out, like, we don't actually find this kind of expression in any other scripture, in any other religion, where God just like comes out and says it, I'm God, worship me. Krishna is very direct here. Nikula dharma vichara pradityaghena dvaya jnana tarupasya shri rajendra nandanaika vigrahasya pada padma sharanad eva sarva pachanti purvaka sarva sampat praktihi. The only way to gain relief from all adversities, the only way to find the hidden treasure, is to abandon all consideration of religiosity or irreligiosity and surrender unto the lotus feet of the absolute reality, the beautiful Sri Krishna Chandra, the divine son of King Nanda. So this verse here, this is the most famous verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, at least amongst those in the path of Krishna consciousness, who appreciate bhakti as the conclusion. And this is like the grand clarion call of Bhagavad Gita. It is a revolutionary recall. Krishna has, and as we were mentioning the other day, we can see Bhagavad Gita in some ways as like a concise presentation of all the ideals that are found in the scriptures, in the Vedas as a whole. And so there's two lines of thought in the Vedas. There's the constitutional method, step-by-step approach, and then there's the revolutionary method. So in other words, the Vedas are advocating one particular line of progress, and then in other places they're totally denouncing all of that, everything that they've said. And so here also in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is given some line of progressive development, karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and then from there one can go to bhakti yoga. But here Krishna is saying, just forget everything that I've told you and just come to me in a relationship of love. You don't have to go this step-by-step route. Just give up all your conception of both religion and irreligion. The only real religion is to satisfy me, to love me, to serve me. I've given a line of general religious practices for the deviant souls, for the souls who are still living in the plane of self-interest, who are still considering things in terms of their own gain or loss, whether it's spiritual gain or loss or material gain or loss. But you can, if you're ready to give up that whole plane of calculation of oneself and embrace the real nature of the whole and approach me as the absolute, then you can forget about all of those things, all of those rulings.
It's interesting because our guru that was from our yoga tradition, the Satchidananda yoga tradition, he taught and has got books and all this yoga, all the different yogas, and then he did the 5 fire ceremony, which is something that hasn't been done since Krishna's time, and for 5 years, this huge big sacrifice type ceremony and at the end of that, when he finished that, he told us all, he says, forget everything I've taught you, and he says, you've got to find your relationship with the divine, with God, with Krishna.
Really?
And he's just turned into a bhakti from his thing. But he said, forget everything we've taught you, and we were all going, what? We've just been teaching it and learning it.
This was after the 5 years.
After the 5 years. He sat for 5 years
goodness.
With 5 fires around him and said the name of the Lord non-stop, except for 2 hours a day or something like that. And he did that for 5 years, and you can see the place he did it where and that's where his conclusion was at the end of it. So that's nice. It's very in line with that, isn't it?
Nice. And so we find this here in Bhagavad Gita, the conclusion of Gita. And then the scripture, which most clearly, describes this ideal in a more elaborate way, is Srimad Bhagavatam, the concluding scripture amongst the Vedic scriptures. So the beginning of Bhagavatam, it announces, it's from the very beginning. This is like the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the starting point of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's 1866. Chapter 18, verse 66 of Bhagavad Gita. We haven't actually got to the verse yet. So Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam begins, the second verse begins, the first verse first establishes the personal, entity of the Absolute in the form of Sri Krishna as the highest expression of divinity. And then the second verse is kind of clarifying, within the context of other conceptions, where this stands, and also what will be necessary for one to really enter into this cultivation. So that second verse is Dharma projita kaitavocha paramo nirmatsarnam satam. So Dharma projita kaitava, it's saying that here in this scripture, that's not here. This is the second verse of Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
So it starts out saying that all kaitava dharma, means cheating religion, is being rejected from this book. So it means, what does kaitava dharma mean? Any religion that is mixed with the calculation of one's own self-interest. So that means dharma, artha, kama, moksha, right? These four things. So here in this book, that is being totally rejected. And who will be able to appreciate it? Those who are paramo nirmat saranam satam. Those saints, those sadhus, those saintly persons who are free from envy, who are completely, utterly free from envy. Because envy means that desire to put ourselves in the center. And we can't tolerate anyone else being superior to us. Whether it's God or whether it's other living beings. No. So those who are free from envy, who don't have that need to calculate things in terms of their own interest, who are ready to really appreciate the nature of reality as it is, not how it serves me and fits into my small little, self-centered conception of things, but as it is, those persons, they can enter into this culture. And everything else is being rejected. So that's the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita, that ideal. It's being indicated here. And that is the starting point of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so we can read this verse. Sarvadharmam prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaya shami ma shuchaha. To impart, and this is quite an expanded translation, to impart knowledge of my all-comprehensive aspect, Brahman, as well as knowledge of my all-permeating aspect, Paramatma. Whatever teachings I have given, based in general on the duties of the socio-religious ranks of life, the duty of the mendicant, selflessness, internal and external sense control, meditation, subservience to the dominion of the Almighty. Now I ask you to summarily dismiss every one of those religiosities and surrender unto me, the personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. Then I shall deliver you from all sin of this worldly sojourn, as well as any sin incurred by giving up the aforementioned duties or religiosities. So this is like the Lord's reassurance in this verse, that he says, you can give up your ordinary duties in order to serve my interest. And if any difficulty, awkwardness, or sin comes about as a result of you neglecting those duties, don't worry, I'll take care of that. If you leave some particular, societal duty, do some duty within the relative plane, if there's any, awkwardness that comes as a result, I will take care of that. You have confidence in that. There will be no cause for you to lament that your life's mission is unfulfilled. Shri Harir Eva Sarva Sad Asaj Jagat Karanatam. Shri Hari is the cause of all worlds, gross and subtle. And now we're moving on to Srimad Bhagavatam. These last verses have all been from Gita. Now these next verses are from Bhagavatam. And this is one of this one, and maybe it's just this one, but this is one of the Chatur Shloki of Bhagavatam. So there's the Chatur Shloki, 4 principal verses of Bhagavad Gita, and then there's also 4 principal verses pointed out in Srimad Bhagavatam. And so this one here is one of them. And these 4 verses, it's told that they were spoken by Lord Krishna at the time of the creation of the material world to Lord Brahma when he was going to create. And then Lord Brahma spoke that to his disciple Narada, and then Narada spoke that to Srila Vyasadeva when he was going to begin Srimad Bhagavatam. And so those 4 verses, they were like the seed conception of Srimad Bhagavatam. And in a nutshell, they are giving the conception that Krishna is all in all. So this is, I think, the first of these 4. Shri Hare Eva Sarva Sada Sajjagat Karanatam. Shri Hari is the cause of all worlds, gross and subtle. Aham eva sam evagre nanyad yat sada satparam paschadaham yad etacha yova shisheta sosmyaham. Prior to the creation of this universe, only I existed. The gross, the subtle, and even the indefinable, non-differentiated absolute Brahman. Nothing whatsoever existed separately from me. After the creation, I exist as the aggregate entity, and after the cataclysm, only I shall remain. And here we can understand, because this can be a little confusing. Like it sounds like the conception of oneness is being given here. Because Krishna is saying, before the creation, there's only me. During the creation, there's only me, and after the creation, there's only me. But we understand that what is meant when he's saying like during the, because we can understand, okay, before the creation, there's only Krishna, after only Krishna. But what does he mean by during? Does that mean we're all one, we're all Krishna? But the explanation is given that this indicates the conception of a Chincha Beda Bed, that everything is simultaneously one with and different from Krishna. Everything in existence is Krishna or one of his energies, his potencies. So we are, a potency and energy of Krishna. Everything in existence is. So in that sense, everything is Krishna. Okay, and then this is the next verse here. Nikila sambandha videya prayojanatmaka veda jnanam tasmad eva. The aggregate of knowledge propounded by the Vedas, relation, means, and end, sambandha abhideya prayojan, arises from him alone. So these are very helpful terms to be familiar with. Sambandha abhideya prayojan, something Mahaprabhu spoke about. And Mahaprabhu said that all of the Vedic knowledge, it can be understood in terms of these 3 principles. Sambandha, meaning knowledge of literally it means something like relationship. And it means understanding what is the real nature of the environment and what is the proper relationship of all things. So like, who am I? What is the nature of this environment? What is the nature of the absolute? How do I relate with the environment? How do I relate with the absolute? What is my relationship? Like that. So like I think of it sometimes like as a simple example. If you're entering a new work environment, you have a new job in some new place, then understanding like what are all the different roles there. What is my role? Who's the boss? What's the proper way for me to relate with all of these people? Where is my work area? Where is my co-worker's work area? Where is my boss's work area? Where is the lunchroom? Where is all of these things, This is like sambandha gyan. Like, if you want to succeed in your job, you need to know all these things. Otherwise you'll just get in trouble. If you're not relating with your knowing who your boss is, relating with them in the expected way, and so on and so forth, then you're gonna have trouble. You're gonna be fired. And understanding what's expected of you, what is your duty. So this is like sambandha gyan. So, in a nutshell, understanding that we are eternal souls, that we exist to serve and to love, and the highest relationship with the Absolute is with Sri Krishna, the Lord of love and divine play. And this world is a temporary world. I'm under the influence of the material energy in this world. I'm soul, but at present I'm covered by mind, body, intellect, ego. All of this knowledge is under Sambandha Gyan. And so it is very helpful. It's very practical knowledge. And when we feel ourselves to be under the influence of the material energy, we can take that step back and recognize, oh, this is my mind speaking. This is my senses speaking. No, this isn't really me speaking. This isn't the nature of the soul. And then abhideya, and then we can go to prayojan means the goal, or another way it's understood that our highest necessity, our necessity. So our highest necessity, our highest goal, highest attainment. And Mahaprabhu has given that as prema, as divine love. And then so abhideya means the way, the path. So I'm here and I want to go here, and this is how I will do that. So all of the devotional practices, all the ways that we have been advised to proceed, that is abhideya. And you can use these terms and apply them to any religious conception, actually. And you can make some comparison of different lines of religious thought on the basis of this. What is their prayojan? What do they advocate? What do they state to be the highest attainment, the highest goal, the highest necessity of the individual? What is their conception of Sambandha Gyan? How developed is it? How does it square up with others? We can make some comparative analysis and see which is more clear. Okay, so we can chant the verse. Jnana me paramam guyam yad vijnana samanvitam sarahasyam tadangancha rihana gaditam maya. To be merciful upon you, do I teach you the most esoteric knowledge of me, including the realization of my nature and entourage, Sambandha Tattva, the inconceivable mystery of loving devotion or prema bhakti, prayojan tattva, and its constituent part in the form of devotional practice or sadhana bhakti, abhideya tattva. Now hear my message attentively and accept what I impart to you. Shri Krishnatmaka Dharma Mayam Eva Veda Jnanam Tasmad Brahmanadi Gatam. The teaching of eternal religion, non-different from Shri Krishna, is received from Shri Krishna by Lord Brahma. Kalena Nashta Parlaye Vaniyam Veda Samgita Maya Do Brahmane Prokta Dharmo Yasyam Madatmaka. The message of the Vedas is eternal religion, non-different from me. When in the course of time those eternal teachings disappeared from view with the universal cataclysm, I imparted them to Lord Brahma at the dawning of a new creation. So this is a very helpful verse, and it's one that our Gurudev Srila Govinda Maharaj has quoted many times. And then also, this is Bhagavatam, and then the verse following this one, it's describing how truth, how do we say, it mutates, for lack of a different word. it takes on different features or changes. Because this is in Bhagavatam, Uddhava asks Krishna, why do we have 1,000,001 different religions in the world today? Why is that so? we find so many different conceptions of the truth. Why is that so? And this is a very helpful point here, because it's something that comes up. So Uddhava asks Krishna this question, and then Krishna answers with this, saying that actually religion is one. And I spoke religion. I spoke the truth of Dharma at the beginning, or Dharma is used here, at the beginning of the creation. This cycle is always going on, creation, devastation, and at the beginning of each new creation, because the knowledge previously given is lost, then I speak it again to the Creator, Lord Brahma. And then in the verse following this one, Krishna goes on to explain, so I spoke that knowledge to Brahma, then Brahma spoke it to his disciples, then they spoke it to their disciples, then they spoke it to their disciples. And because of this transfer of the truth, and because of the different nature and the different mentality of each of those individuals in the course of that, transferring, then it took on there was some change. Chinese whispers. If you have 100 people and, each person's being told something, the same thing, then when you get to the end of the line, it's going to be something completely different. So this is what Krishna explains. That's why, according to the nature of persons, their environment and so many factors, then things change, And we find that what's given in the Vedic literature is so highly developed, and we find really the origin of all other religious conceptions. There's nothing missing there in what's given in the Vedas. Nothing's missing. You find there the origin of all other religious thought. You'd find parallels. The Christian conception of God the Father, that correlates with the Vishnu conception, Narayan conception, the almighty, fatherly being. And the German philosopher, scholar Max Muller, he noted that in his study of the Vedic literature, and he didn't even go to look at all or maybe he did, but in this comment, he said just in the Upanishads, what to speak of the rest of the Vedic texts, just in the Upanishads, he said just one drop of the Upanishads will feed the whole world. That persons of all religious inclination, they'll be satisfied. If you can get past the cultural differences and look at what's actually being said, remove the framework, then you see this will be appreciated. This is the same as what's being said over here in this other, religious school of thought. It's the same thing. So if you look at what's given in the Vedas, what Krishna says here, it tallies up, because it is such a developed body of knowledge. So it makes perfect sense that, from that, things, developed and changed and became known by so many other names, but the source is there, the original revelation is there. Paramananda Sarupa Shri Krishnapta Eva Sarva Sheshta Sukha Prapti. The ultimate happiness is the attainment of the service of Shri Krishna, who is divine ecstasy personified. Mayarpitatmana sabhya nirapikshasya sarvataha mayatmana sukham yattat kuta syad vishayatmanam. My dear saints, where can the materialists find the happiness that I, the embodiment of divine ecstasy, bestow within the hearts of those who offer life and soul unto me, and who have thus become indifferent to all else? My dear saints, where can the materialists find the happiness that I, the embodiment of divine ecstasy, bestow within the hearts of those who offer life and soul unto me, and who have thus become indifferent to all else. Karma yogadi labhyam phalam vanchati chet prapnotjeva Krishna bhaktaha. When a devotee desires any object which is attainable by the practitioners of religiosity based on karma, jnana, and yoga, all his requirements are summarily achieved. So, this is the power of bhakti. That as a side effect of that, you'll get everything that can be attained in all the other paths anyway. It's also mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita that actually bhakti is like the sustaining force of all other practices. That without the connection of bhakti, karma, jnana, yoga, they don't have any power anyway. Yat karma bir, yat tapasa, jnana vaidagya tascha sat, chayat, yogena dana dharmena, shreyo bir itader api, sarvam mad bhakti yogena, mad bhakto labate anjasa, sarga pavarga maddama katanchid yadi vanshati. By engaging in devotional service, my devotee effortlessly attains anything and everything attainable in this world by virtuous practices such as duty, austerity, learning, detachment, meditation, charity, or religiosity. Even residence in Vaikuntha Lok is his for the asking, to say nothing of the attainment of heaven or liberation. So you brought this point up the other day, so just like to put things in more context, for the fully realized devotee, this is true, that everything's at their disposal. They don't want it actually. Whatever money they may need, whatever power they may need, whatever fame, whatever, it's all like waiting on their doorstep, if they need it. And that's mentioned in that beautiful verse of Bilvamangal. So this is true for a devotee of a particular caliber. However, for the practitioner, for one who is not siddha, one who is not perfected, then it may or may not be for them that they will experience that according to what is necessary for them. Because if there's a practitioner who has a sincere desire to progress, if they're too distracted by worldly attainments, then they could leave the path, So for someone who Krishna is really taking to his care and really wants them to succeed, then he may break their, whatever material attainment they have or they aspire for, because he knows that at that stage it won't be helpful for them. But at a higher stage, all of these things will be like eagerly following them, and that devotee doesn't have any interest, personal interest, and they may or may not utilize them. But on the other hand, if Krishna doesn't feel ready to really take somebody in, then it's also mentioned he may purposely distract them. or you could say like a test, That's also mentioned, that there's this verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Bhukti mukti, how does it go? Krishna jadi chute bhakta bhukti mukti diya. That if Krishna wants to evade somebody, then he will give them some bhukti and mukti, material attainment or moksha, liberation. So, according to different stages, development, then, individuals will be treated in different ways, So, that also gives us caution that if something's coming to us, something of value, in this world, we'll be very cautious.
Krishna doesn't want us.
Oh.
He's trying to like trick us here, you know. And we have to like be strong.
With you on this.
We have to be strong and say, that's not what I want. You can't fool me.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Because we see that, you know, what, as a result of bhakti, the development of bhakti, then things start to come to you. You know, fame will start to come to you. Followers will start to come to you. Material resources will start to come to you. And so then the challenge is whether you start to use those for yourself or like, you know, reinvest them, you know, like Srila Sridhar talks about, like compound interest. You know, like you've made some investment, you're getting some interest from that, but not spending that, like reinvesting it. Your capital is getting bigger. You know? So we have to be alert, you know, because, you know, that higher plane, it's real, it's there, and we will be examined. You know, how strong is your resolve, how sincere is your intention, you know, for the real thing.
Yeah, it's like that story with Yudhishthira just before he kind of ascended, you know, and he had a dog with him, you know.
Yes.
It's a beat up old dog, and they said, "Oh, come on," you know. He said, "But what about the dog? You know, I won't leave without the dog. The dog has to come with me." You know? Yeah, it's a good story. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, testing kind of.
Let's see. We'll just read one more verse, and then I think it's a good place to stop. Aikantika diyamanam api kaivalyadikam na vanshanti. The exclusive devotees never aspire for liberation, headed by emancipation in the Absolute, even if it is offered to them. Na kinchit sadhavo dhira bhakta hi kanti no mama vanchantyapi mayadatam kaivalyam apunar bhavam. Even if I desire to award it to them, my sagacious, saintly, exclusive devotees will never accept the ultimate emancipation of oneness in Brahman. Okay, maybe we'll do one or two more. Kaivalyaksheya salukyadikam apine chanti. Nor do they aspire for even positive liberation, beginning with residence in the Lord's abode, which is infinitely superior to ultimate emancipation of oneness in Brahman. So there are different conceptions of liberation. You know, there's the conception of, you know, that attainment of oneness in this non-differentiated plane of consciousness. And then there's the conception of positive liberation within the Lord's eternal abode. And there are 4 types which are particularly mentioned. Here it says Salokya, etc. So Salokya means to achieve a position within the Lord's abode. Then there's Sarupya, which means to attain a similar bodily form as the Lord's. There's Sharshti, which means to attain equal opulence, wealth as the Lord. Then there's Samipya, which means to attain a position very close, where they can reside very close to the Lord. So the exclusive devotees, the very exclusive, they don't even aspire for that. You know, what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given is so high. You know, even within the Vaishnava, you know, arena, it is so high. It is so pure. You know, not even to aspire for residence with the Lord, to be with the Lord, but just to love the Lord, to have that consciousness of divine love. So no personal request. So matsevaya pratitante salogyadi chatushtayam nechanti sevaya purna kuto nyatkala viplutam. When my dedicated pure devotees when my dedicated pure devotee never accepts any of the 4 kinds of positive liberation, salokya, etc., even if they avail themselves to him by dint of his service unto me, then why will he ever wish for materialistic enjoyment and ultimate emancipation in Brahman? Sayuja mukti. And so this is the 5th kind of liberation, which is rejected by the devotees. Sayuja mukti means this merging. That is rejected by the devotees. But the very exclusive devotees, they not only reject that merging, but they also reject this positive liberation. So then why will he ever wish for materialistic enjoyment? What to speak of material enjoyment in this world? And ultimate emancipation in Brahman, which are very swiftly vanquished by the march of time. By Sayuja Mukti, the soul's eternal status falls into the jaws of death. Because from the devotional perspective, this is seen as a kind of suicide. Sayuja Mukti. You're losing your individuality. You're losing the opportunity to serve, to have a relationship of love with the Lord. So from that standpoint, it is a type of suicide. Thus, sense enjoyment and monistic liberation hold no permanence. And this verse, and there's a few of them here. This was spoken by Lord Narayan when. It's a bit of a story. Maybe next time we can tell it. But one Durvasa Muni, who's kind of famous throughout the Vedic literature, he was very, very offensive to Maharaj Ambarish, who was a king, and it's a nice kind of contrast here. Durvasa Muni is this very renounced sage, but has some pride, and he's very offensive to Maharaj Ambarish, who's a king who lives in worldly opulence, but is actually a very pure-hearted and humble devotee. So Durvasa Muni doesn't understand who he is and mistreats him, very badly. And as a result, the Lord Sudarshan Chakra, this disc that he uses to kill the demons, not that the Lord sends the chakra, but the chakra actually has his own life, his own will. And he's very upset that Durvasa Muni mistreated. Not only, he was like ready to kill him because he got angry. Then Durvasa Muni was ready to kill Maharaj Ambarish. And so the Sudarshan Chakra came like to protect Maharaj Ambarish Maharaj, and was chasing after Durvasa Muni. And Durvasa Muni is like running through all the worlds. First he went to Brahma, couldn't help him. Then he went to Shiva, couldn't help him. And then he went to Lord Narayan. And then Lord Narayan also said, "I'm helpless, actually." And then he begins speaking on the glories of his devotees, saying, actually, like I consider them to be superior to me. I'm bound by their love. So you have to go to him. I can't help you. So this is one of those verses where he's glorifying his devotees. And so he goes to Ambarish, and of course Ambarish is the perfect Vaishnav, and he doesn't hold any, bad feeling, and so then the Sudarshan Chakra he withdraws. Okay, well, we can stop there for today. Any last comments or anything? Okay. Jai Shri Prapanna-jivanamrtam ki jai, Shri Akshar Hardev Goswami ki jai, Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki jai, Shri Guru Gauranga Ganhara Govinda Sundar ki jai, Acharya Vrinda ki jai, Seva Vrinda ki jai, Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande
be involved.